question says, given that we are discussing climate change in an air-conditioned room, how can we address the paradox of relying on energy-intensive cooling solutions while advocating for sustainable practices? This is a very, very good question. Thank you for asking this. This is a question from Mr. Chandan Kumar Jaina. Mr. Jaina? Yeah, okay. So these are three questions. Any takers? So we have, we can club it around IoT and
Yeah, I think these are all very illustrative audience, and anyone who asks a questions actually knows the answer. So it's basically because when you sit on the other side, acha, okay, so they have not covered me. So let me ask these questions and try to test their knowledge. I think Chandanji, could you please stand up? Do you have an answer for this? अगर यहाँ पे नहीं बैठे तो कहाँ बैठे? AC room में ना बैठे तो कहाँ बैठे? And alternative cooling solutions.
can Chandan, can someone give a mic to Chandan?
मैं चला जाता हूँ. I will go to you. You will have the answer. So I think all these three questions, we'll go to them and find answers from them. Chandan, आगे आ जाओ थोड़ा. आगे कैसे? Let's break this.
Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. Actually, I may not be right in my point. That's why I asked the question to know from the specialist and the excellence. In my point of view, there are more cooling system by water resources. Like ID fan or FD fan, the induction motors are there. We can use water cooling system, not the cooling system, air pollution, where the nitrogen gas elimination is there. We can use like refrigerators, like old time. You can put it at mod. From mod, we can make small types of refrigerators where there's no use of nothing. Only the pot is there, and we have to cover it at means wet or dry cloths. It can like work like a refrigerator. So
Who had the answer? Who had the answer? Tell me.
but
Chandan, be in touch with Murthyunjay Babu. So what ideas you have, probably if you get in touch with him, you will find the right answers. Okay, start doing research. That's your responsibility. Not just asking questions, but rising for the answers also. Thank you very much.
sir, actually I used to AC, but in nowadays I am leave the AC rooms. I try to use coolers. I don't have refrigerator in my present address because I use pots of mod pots to keep the vegetables and this. If everyone try this, then maybe the climate will be changed. Otherwise, the climate also changing.
Then we'll find answers from Chandan in future. So who is the researcher and very enthusiastic, maybe Murthyunjay Babu, you need to work together. So you are also very young, so two young people would give us solutions.
No, thank you, Abhiga bhai. So one thing, there is a new technology has come called phase transition materials. So we have a company called 1090 who does, he makes some materials, he charge it once, it maintains cooling for next 10 hours. That's how it helps farmers to take their farm produce from the farm to the market for 10 hours without using any energy more. So maybe somebody has to think of that, yes, this material could be used for, I don't know, to cooling for a bigger thing. But maybe we can discuss these problem statements. But there's one company came from Pune called Jet Cooling or something, I forgot. And 2.5 kilowatt AC power, what it's taking, and the cooling it is making, they're going to make it in 600 watts. Just imagine people are all developing, miniaturizing things. So new material chemistry might address such kind of things. Otherwise, cooling is important. You cannot sit, I cannot sit outside because it's too hot. So alternative has to be there, which is environment friendly. People are thinking about. Thank you.
I just want to add to this. I may not have the answer to your question, Chandanji, but I was in Jaisalmer last week, and I went to the Jaisalmer fort. I don't know how many of you have gone there. I went to Jaisalmer fort, and I have been to other forts also, and these are all forts that were built between 1000 AD to, let's say, 1700 AD, and all these forts had a sanitation system, a cooling system. In Jaisalmer Fort, they have it's in right in the desert, and they have built several rooms which has a natural cooling system. Even now you go there in peak summer of 45, 46, 47 degrees Celsius, inside it will be minus 20 degree, like whatever the temperature outside, you will have 20 degrees less than that. And that is the kind of systems that they had, yeah. So see, engineering उस समय भी, I mean, during that time, they were engineers. Of course, they did not get any degree for engineering, but they were engineers who designed it. So, if the idea is how do we cool things, someone came up with this idea of putting these, air conditioner. But if we continue our quest for answers, we may find answers which are more environment friendly, which are more carbon friendly, and which can really solve the problem of cooling. So,
Yeah, I just wanted to just tell him also, if you could just look at what is happening in Kerala. Specifically, Kerala has a very good architect, and if you look at Laurie Baker and Shankara's architectural designs, which also uses local technologies, you will find to a certain level how to reduce usage of, the ACs specifically. So that's one thing. The coming back to use of AI and IoT, specifically in the agriculture sector, there is a lot of innovation which is happening. There's something called there is something which UNDP supported government of India and some of the state governments, which is called DICRA, where they are looking at precipitation, temperature, heat, and many other parameters, which is now taken over by the NABARD, and they are monitoring what type of conditions are going to be available, and from using that information, what type of crop culture, what crops can be done. Sapna had mentioned about, water budgeting. Now, water budgeting using IoT also, water budgeting is being done. That's what done in Telangana, in Andhra Pradesh, and also in Orissa, nearby only, I think, Baliapatna or somewhere, they have done it. They are actually monitoring all the parameters required for a good agriculture produce. And based on that information, the time of planting, the time of cutting, and what needs to be done, what needs to be put into the agriculture feed is being decided. So technology is useful, and it will become more and more useful. Drones are being used. It's also technology. And how are you going to monitor what you want to do it? I'm sure it can be. And in the similar way, a lot of places is also now trying to monitor the water levels at different points. The fresh water which is available in ponds and lakes, or the groundwater, and using that information, trying to see how much water has to be released at what time. So that's again technology which is being used. Swapna, you wanted?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about two simple technologies that's been in practice currently in the state of Odisha. One is using all the geological science. A very simple technological tools, GIS-based application has been developed, whereby each community would know where to dig a pond. Because everywhere you can't dig a pond and store water, because the land's capability is also different. So how do you understand what is the land's capable, whether it is capable of holding water or not, it can be decided, and that tool has been extensively used in the state, which is called CLAT. And this crop water budgeting tool has been tested in 8,000 villages. Community, people who are just about literate has been using that tool and deciding the fate of agriculture. So definitely technology, artificial intelligence has a bigger role to play, and many organizations, IIT Bombay, IIT Bhubaneswar. I think the friend was been asking, there's a sabji cooler developed by IIT Bombay. So in which you can store fresh vegetable for 45 days, and this has been also extensively used in the state of Odisha for the small farmers. So there are lot been innovations happening, lot of them has been scaled up, but to find a solution to 100 plus million people, saying this versus that is definitely not the answer.
Thank you, Sapna. I'll take two questions. One, I have see hand raised there. Yeah. So one is there and the other one is, ma'am. Yes. Do you have a mic? Yeah. इनको माइक में वॉल्यूम दीजिए प्लीज.
Good afternoon to one and all. It's not a question exactly because what we were discussing right now, the answer lies just behind all our jury members. It is the watershed picture which is there. So the main concern today is how are we going to manage things when questions are being raised on artificial intelligence, on use of technology while we want to combat climate change. So my concern was like this. Being from Government of Odisha Agriculture Department, so we recently came across a sad news you can say, that the Thar desert of our country is turning green. We are finding rainfalls, heavy rainfalls in Thar desert. So is this a good news for us or is this a very bad news for us? Actually, climate experts are saying this is not at all a good news for us, because if we can imagine the map of India, then on the northwest side there is a Thar desert, and you can see how the southwest monsoon, which brings almost 90% of the rainfall to our country, it is moving from the Indian Ocean, going upwards, crossing Kerala on 1st June, then crossing Odisha from at around 10th June.
With all due
So,
respect, ma'am,
sir.
if you can ask a question,
Yes.
because I am also managing the
Sir.
time.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So I'll straight away go to the question that whenever any government organization or say private organization, we are trying to go for afforestation or take any initiative on climate resilient technology, we are planting wherever we are finding a patch of land. So when Britishers planted this Prosopis juliflora hundreds of years ago in Thar desert, it has led to decrease in the southwest monsoon because it affects the air
So,
pressure.
ma'am, question.
Therefore, the question is, so how do we plan? How do we plan to combat this climate change, and how do we ensure that whatever steps we are taking, it is correct? It is not going to affect the future
Okay.
of
So how do we strategize our steps
yes.
so that, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Your question is taken. Can I have a question from ma'am there, and then that's the final question, and then we can answer both.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I congratulate all the panelists. I'm actually not going to ask a question. I didn't want to ask a question because Ambika will say that as a teacher you know the answer. You are asking us the question. So I take the clue from there that he asked if we don't sit here, where do we sit? And Dr. Suar said it's very hot outside and we cannot sit there. So what is the answer? When can we sit outside? We all know about global warming. Can we have a local solution for this global warming? Can we have a solution for this 24-hour AC use in Bhubaneswar, which we didn't see 30, 40 years back? So this extended summer in Bhubaneswar, can we have a solution for that? We have the dignitaries here on the dais, the panelists,
who I think have a say in policy making. What are we doing to Bhubaneswar? What kind of urban planning we are doing with no water bodies, no greeneries, and we are talking about AI and small solutions. I'm not saying that small solutions are not useful. Small is beautiful. Small solutions are useful. Big solutions are to be done. So what are we doing for Bhubaneswar? If any of you can actually educate me on that, because when I go to Bhopal, for example, I'll take just 1 second, it never crosses 35 degrees. And the reason is there are two big water bodies. And the greenery you see, you just get lost. I want to stay there. Actually, I share my experience feeling with you. I am requesting all of you, please provide a solution where we can live in Bhubaneswar as we are living 30 years back, 20 years back, even 10 years back. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question, ma'am. I'm sorry. I just need to get quick response, and if your question is remains unanswered, because I am sure 100% that nobody has an answer to this question. Yes, we can all share our opinion, but we don't have an answer right now. Absolutely, absolutely.
No, I think
So
for
quickly,
Odisha,
very quickly.
for the Bhubaneswar island kind of a condition, the Pollution Control Board is already engaging some experts to come up with the findings as to what has created Bhubaneswar as a heat island. It's a phenomenon which is now establishing. Angul has already been studied. I think Bhubaneswar also is getting studied now. And like you said, if you look at the land use pattern of Bhubaneswar 20 years and 10 years, and now, a lot of things has changed. Not just talk about the water bodies that has gone in or the green cover that has gone in. Look at the pavers block. Every footpath where you could conserve and store some bit of water is now covered with pavers. So they are looking at it, ma'am. Definitely there will be a solution. Much more scientists who are expertise in drilling this kind of a heat island. But government of Odisha is definitely mindful about it, is all I can say, because I have been part of that discussion somewhere. Thank you.
Ma'am, just to say, if you look at to Bangkok, if you look at what Bangkok city is now trying to do, was already there in the same position as what Bhubaneswar was. They are using community-centric water management and plantations along with the government systems together. And they are also using technologies to monitor it. They have a system where they are actually monitoring every small tree, plant or a tree which is being built. So that's how we will have to somehow move it, and we will also have to build a citizen-centric approach. Next question to ma'am, the earlier she had asked, I think we need to go back to our nature-based solutions where we understand our existing climate, existing flora, fauna which was there, and then when we plant, we use them also. Because what we did was we brought in exotics, which was quick growing and would yield results better. But somewhere along with that, we need to also reintroduce the existing species. And ma'am, climate change is always there and it will always be there. We just need to start understanding how to adapt with it.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Thank you, panelists. I'm so sorry. I just need to close this. You can continue this during the lunch break. I'm against time. I'm already running out of time, so my apologies. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank each one of you. Sir, point taken. Point taken. Point taken. Point taken. Your point is taken. I would really apologize. I cannot spare another minute for this discussion, but please continue to have this discussion during the lunch break. Take this opportunity. Thank you so much, all of you. Pleasure having this interaction. Thank you, JSW. Thank you, Times of India, for this opportunity. And please visit the website which was mentioned, and try and spread this on social media as well as speak to your friends and colleagues so that we have more applications. Thank you once again.
Would like to thank all our panelists for the enriching discussion, requesting them to please be with us on the stage. I'd now like to invite Mr. Prashant Biswal to kindly join us on the stage to hand over a small token of appreciation to our panelists. May I request all of you to please give a huge round of applause to all our panelists and especially for our moderator for wonderfully moderating the session.
लंच ब्रेक रे पानी आ गछ ऊपर जेते समस्या अछि स्वप्न आ आभा ए दी जण सब आंसर देबे.
I'd like to request all our panelists, moderator, and sir to please pose for a group photograph, please. Thank you so much once again. Once again, I'd like to request all of you to please visit our website www.earthcareawards.com to know more about the categories and kindly register yourselves and submit your entries. Please follow us on our handle #EarthcareAwards on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn to know more about the stories of change makers, tips and tricks, and share your stories. And now we are absolutely privileged to invite Gram Vikas, which is a proud recipient of the 10th Earth Care Awards under the category of Community-Based Climate Action for the community-owned social and agroforestry for protecting and rejuvenating water sources project. Can we have his AV before I request him to join us on the stage, please?
With 68% of land being prone to drought and 65% of water reservoirs reporting below normal water levels, Gram Vikas has risen as an example in managing productive forests and empowering forest-dependent communities.
We dug 10 by 10 feet W80, that is water absorption trenches. After we dug the trenches, the runoff rainwater flows down at great speed and flows directly into the trenches. This way, the runoff water does not reach the lowest level but is contained in the trenches and seeps into the ground.
Gram Vikas, which translates to village development, has been working for the well-being of Adivasi and marginalized communities in inaccessible rural areas since 1979.
We mobilized the communities to address this issue, which required them to make changes in the way they took up agriculture, the way they treated their forest land, the way they handled slope land. We were able to mobilize them and help them with technology and knowledge inputs and bring them together on common platforms at the village level to take up steps to rejuvenate their water sources.
Their vision is an equitable and sustainable society where people live in peace with dignity. Gram Vikas has fostered partnerships with village institutions and communities. Restoration of forest ecosystems has contributed to rejuvenation of water sources and enhanced the carbon sequestration potential. Continued promotion by Gram Vikas of intercropping in the plantation land with oil seeds and pulses has helped in generating additional income and sustaining the livelihood of farmers and Adivasis.
Right now, cashew is being sold at 100 rupees a kilo in my village. In our village, if all of us are united and think alike to care for the trees planted by Gram Vikas, then we can hope to earn 50,000 rupees a year. The trees have grown big and are bearing fruits which are being sold now.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we saw was just a glimpse, and now I'd like to take the pleasure of inviting Mr. Nirmal Chandra Mohanty, Program Manager, Livelihoods and Village Institutions from Gram Vikas, to share his journey. Mr. Mohanty is currently the Program Manager at Gram Vikas. He has worked both at strategic and implementation level in watershed development, renewable energy and agriculture with corporates, government and development sectors. Can we please have him on stage amidst a huge round of applause, please?
Thank you. Thank you, JSW and Times of Group of India. Times of India. So we had a very good discussion before my speech. So I will not touch upon what is climate change and for what purpose we got this award. Many discussions are there. I will start with just a line of अथर्ववेद 13th मंत्र का एक लाइन है, माता भूमि अहं पुत्रो पृथिव्या. We are the children of earth. So we should take care of the earth, and earth always takes care of us. The global population is rising, pollution is rising, everything which affects the earth and nature is there. Still, earth has the potential to bear us because it is a mother. Let me just touch upon a little about for what purpose we got this award and about this Thuamul Rampur experience. And I will just spare 5-10 minutes about after getting this award, what is the next step we have done which will contribute to these climate positive efforts. In 2022, 10th Earth Car Award was given by JSW to Gram Vikas. That area, the project started from 2018 to 2023, April. So that was a COVID period. So just imagine to have the community institutions, build up the community institutions, have nurseries, convince the people to work there, convergence with the government, how difficult it was there. That place is around 700 meters elevation, that is high mountains are there, around 800 water sources, mountain springs are there. What happened? What is the effect of climate change over there? People are getting fresh water from there without any mechanical or power device. Through gravity fed, they are getting the drinking water through pipes from the mountains. Many might have seen the Gram Vikas model of this. They are getting their fuel, fodder, and food from the mountains. But during the years, there are many barren lands, slash and burn, shifting cultivations, huge mining besides them, besides these mountains, and other activities. Their life has changed. Who is the culprit? I'm not going to discuss on that. Anyway, the numbers is good when you try to understand the reality behind the numbers. That is the people's life. Otherwise, numbers is not meaningless. Climate change is a very serious topic and it needs serious data. But urgency and exaggeration will not solve the purpose. There is huge talks everywhere, but the time has come to take actions. Sometimes we just neglect very slow change is a no change. But everybody, just Omega ji was telling that everybody has some answers, and in its own field, if everybody tries to take actions, then collectively it will affect the climate change. So what we did there, around 242,000 trees were planted in 400 acres in the upper reaches, and in the middle, around 17,000 horticulture spaces were planted. In the upper reaches, we started with the village institutions. Community decided what species to grow there and why we have to grow. We just provided the technical expertise and facilitated the strengthening of that community. So trenches were built, these diversion burn structures were built, forest spaces, fruit bearing things, those species were chosen. And the funny part of this is after these so many years, you will find that the flow rate of the springs has increased by 15%. We'll find different animals coming, birds coming, which is the greatest sign that the forest regeneration is happening. And about 70% of the slash and burn activities have been reduced. So that is a small effect. And economically also the carbon sequestration is happening, and we are also going to have a carbon credit project. We are starting now. Within 10 years, the money from this carbon credit will directly go to the villagers. Around 3,000 villagers will be benefited in 13 habitations. So this is all about the project. I will not go much about this thing. So after this award, so it gave a boost, inspiration to think about our core flagship program, Water Secure Gram Panchayat. Water is the central point of all climate actions. So we have a flagship program running for 3 years and ambitious target of getting 1,000 Gram Panchayat water secure in Odisha by 2032. So it will affect around 7 million families. So the basic features of this water secure Gram Panchayat, we know, and recently we are discussing about what is happening in Bhubaneswar and all these things. So we work in 15 districts. Majorly tribal population is around 57 to 69%. Kandhamal, Gajpati, Kalahandi, and Ganjam in tribal belt. So what we want to do there, we first build the communities, they will take the decisions, and it will have 4 pillars. It is based on 4 pillars, this Water Secure Gram Panchayat program. Equity and resilience through water, prosperity through water, sustainability of water, and safe water. These 4 pillars brings us this idea of water secure Gram Panchayat. We use the technology, and in future also AI will be used, where what will be the features of this water secure Gram Panchayat? When we will say that this Gram Panchayat is water secure, for that we have a baseline. How much water we have in the subsurface area and the surface area. For that purpose, we are introducing a water passbook. What is that water passbook? We just take the groundwater monitoring, water source inventory is taken, what are the water sources available in the aquifer, and continuously, it is a continuous process. So groundwater monitoring is taken up. We just measure this water after the rainfall, how much water layer is there, and after the rainfall, what is the water layer. In every month, in some places, in every 3 months, we are getting this data. And in the community, we share a passbook. See, this is the water available now, and accordingly, you can make your crop planning, crop selection, and you can say that where this aquifer is not utilized, so you can utilize that aquifer there. This is broadly, many things are there, but this is the broadly we are targeting. So I will say that what is the end point when we can say that this Gram Panchayat or this habitation, not the Gram Panchayat, the small unit is the habitation level we are doing, is water secure. What do we achieve? We want to achieve the community. Every household should have access to safe water. That is the first feature for this water secure Gram Panchayat. Land and all other natural resources are effectively managed by the community. Then third point is producer collectives are strengthened and they increase their income by using all these natural resources with leveraging from different technologies. Like this automatic weather station, we are currently around 18 or so weather stations effectively monitoring. And technology and data leveraged for better use of physical and natural resources. So we use the technology part here, different technologies and the data management systems are being used. Then the vulnerable households access to social protection schemes and there is equity in the distribution. They participate in the development process at the village level. So village development committees have been formed at the GP level. We have Gram Panchayat GPCC coordination committee which supplements to the panchayats to get their GPDP and their planning, all these things. Everywhere the community has a say. And the last one, the women, children gets positions, decision-making positions in all these layers of committees and they have a say in the development process. If that is not there, then it will not be inclusive. So very few people will take the decisions and it will be imposed upon this. So, I forgot the youth. Women, children and youth. Because many of we are working around 2,000 plus villages and we have village development committees, but we had a great story of 1 year to think that what is continuing, what processes are continuing and we should take it forward and what new changes we have to brought in. So we found that the youths in the 20 to 35 years many are towards migration, and many are not participating effectively in the decision-making process of the village. Only the older people, they are continuing all these things. So unless we take the youth besides all these development processes, decision-making things, then things will not work. So we have 3-4 other programs for the youth. So in our WSCP, that is a major youth, children and women, we have put it. This is the way forward. Once again, thank you JSW and Times of India giving me these opportunities for this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All good wishes and more power to you and your journey as a climate change warrior. Thank you so much. And now as we move on to the last but the most exciting segment of the day, I am absolutely privileged to invite Mr. Ranjan Kishore Panda, Waterman of Odisha, convener of Water Initiatives India convener, Combat Climate Change Network India, to deliver this special address. Mr. Ranjan Kishore Panda is a sociologist by education and has more than 3 decades of experience facilitating several initiatives, starting from grassroots to nation, as well as South Asia levels, to promote water, environmental conservation, and climate change-related initiatives and advocacy. He is popularly known as Waterman of Odisha and also as the Climate Crusader in India. Ladies and gentlemen, may I kindly request all of you to please give him a huge round of applause as he is here with us for his special address.
No, I don't want to stand between people in the lunch. Thank you so much, JSW Foundation, for inviting me, and I'm really delighted and honored to be with colleagues, my friends, very dear friends, Swapna, Abha, Ambika Bhai, and others. And they're more knowledgeable people than me, so I think I have nothing more to say. But then I have a question. Is it okay to continue in English, or I can switch to Oriya? Whichever. So, know how many people don't understand Odia. Everybody understands Odia. So I'll make a mix of, So more kamota basically ochi jo kamota ebe porjanto heini mu seta karibi bhashan maribata. Baki samaste to kamo kotha kaile. तो मु भावुची there is something called a vision exercise. तो हुए तो गोटे छोटिया स्टोरी रो आरंभ करी. Recently, one of the leading newspapers of India, they were looking for stories for grassroots change makers, and they asked me a few names to suggest. They were going to make a feature, and I gave a name of few people. Among them was a woman who has preserved seeds, indigenous seeds varieties. And then this team sent this story along with others to the editorial team, and they rejected this particular story. They didn't find a climate change link in a seed story. So I think I want to start my presentation from that. There are, we have been talking about many words, many terminologies in climate change, but normally we don't try to understand these terminologies. Everybody feels that everything that is happening around is a climate impact, and everything that we are doing is actually a climate action. So I think when we are talking about adaptation, mitigation, resilience, we should understand that which kind of, because the lady from, I think, Water Resource Department made a very good point. She was trying to say something, she asked a question, and that exactly where we are supposed to think. That are we doing something in the name of a climate action which is actually going to destroy our actions further? And that exactly where there is a thin line. There is also a thin line between how to understand climate impacts. For example, many people feel, I always say we are a reactionary society. आमे समस्ते ओडिशार जलवायु परिवर्तन विषय कहला बेलू स्पीकर माने कहले विथ ऑल समस्ते बट आमे कहला बेलू समस्ते भावु साइक्लोन स्वप्ना कहले ड्राउट विषय अंबिका भाई भी कहले अन्य लोक विषय कहले बट साइक्लोन इज नॉट द इम्पैक्ट क्लाइमेट इम्पैक्ट तो आमे बुझबार अच्छी जो माने क्लाइमेट एक्शन को जाउछंती मु बेसिकली यंग जनरेशन सत्य भलिया पिलां को कहूची जो माने जो ग्राम विकास रो भाई भी कहले दे शुड टेक द टर्च अहेड सबुठु बड़ इम्पैक्ट क्लाइमेट चेंज रो पडुची कोठी आई थिंक वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दैट water definitely is the most impacted common and also the most common carrier of climate impacts. And to understand climate change, we need to understand water. And to understand water, we need to understand the interconnectedness of all the commons. बाकी जो resources अच्छी जो भी सारे forest भी सारे कहले माउंटेन्स विषय तो आमर कथा है बिल्कुल जोटा वाटर सेट कथा कहूचे बट जो हेड ऑफ द वाटर सेट्स कोटी अच्छी नदी गुड़ाक कौटू आसूची एंड हाउ दे आर बीइंग इम्पैक्टेड बाय क्लाइमेट चेंज और बाय अदर एक्शंस मु भावुची वी शुड ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड तो मोर काम है मु भावुची कि आम भाया मो भाया लोक जो मैंने 30-35 वर्ष है काम कले वी शुड नाउ थिंक how the youth should actually understand this कहीं वर्तमान मोर हिसाब रे मोर अंडरस्टैंडिंग रू कहूची विथ ऑल ड्यू एपोलॉजीज दुईटा जिनस को क्लाइमेट एक्शन बोली मेजरली कह जाउची गोटे होची प्लास्टिक गोटेबा आउ गोटे होची गछ लगेबा चारा लगेबा तो जदि एई दुईटा इफ वी श्रिंक आवर माइंडसेट टू जस्ट सैपलिंग एनवायरमेंटलिज्म and picking up plastics from sea beaches जोटा आमे भी करूछु आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि आमे करूने किंतु आमे एक्चुअली सेटा करूछु कोन पाई केबे भी हमर यूथ बा हमर ग्रुप्स ऑफ पीपल हु आर क्लीनिंग द बीचेस केबे भी तापर देखुचंदी कि से वेस्ट ता जाउची कोठी इज इट कमिंग बैक अगेन टू द सी थ्रू माइक्रोप्लास्टिक रूट तो मु भावुची आमको सही लेवल रे वर्तमान चिंता करिवार अछि बिकॉज somebody said it very rightly I think Ajay ji said कि आम पाखरे वो समय ना it is not that it is going to happen it's already we are in an emergency we are now not talking in the language of climate change now we are talking in the language of climate emergency we are already inside the emergency we are just being churned inside it जो हीट वेव कथा कह जाउची जो फॉरेस्ट फायर कथा कह गला जो ड्राउट इंक्रीजिंग फ्रीक्वेंसीज एंड इंटेंसिटी कथा कह जाउची दिस आर ऑल पार्ट ऑफ द इमरजेंसी दैट वी आर ऑलरेडी इन बट आमे जदि बुझीबानी कि व्हाई डिड वी एक्चुअली एंड अप हियर टू बी इन दिस इमरजेंसी देन we will be in trouble we'll be in trouble in planning how we are going to come out of it. Technology is definitely going to help. But my dear friends, the greatest technology is the atmosphere, the Mother Earth. There is no replacement of this. वर्षा टाको आउ केही तैयारी कला भलिया टेक्नोलॉजी बाहर करिवे भलिया मते लागुनी मो जीवन रे. You can do cloud seeding and end up more devastations with technology. You can use technology like Swapna says, how to water budget, how to adapt to an maladapted situation. But you just cannot create the rain. If you want to create the rain, then we can do one thing. We have to understand how the rain is created. Someone was rightly pointing, some species planted some time ago is actually going to disturb the monsoon's movement. Similarly, a large part of these flow irrigated canal systems in India have also been causing these extreme precipitation events somewhere. So, आमको बुझीबार अछि कि whether our climate action is actually well informed or it is just a reactionary thing. If we are just being reactionary like we normally do, jaundice हेगला संगे संग total system लगी पड़िवो ताकू हमें केमती. But after that, our children don't know what is jaundice. What is water quality? How to monitor water quality with all these low cost technology? तो आम जो रेगुलर बेसिस रे मु पानी को चिन्हुनी जदि रेगुलर बेसिस रे मु जंगल को बुझा चेष्टा करूनी ताहले हाउ एम आई गोइंग टू डिमांड ए फॉरेस्ट? That is exactly is the thing. I can always plant a sapling and take a picture. But that is not going to solve the problem. Because mitigation, if we are talking about mitigation, then it is not only the industry which is responsible globally. That carbon emitting industries. It is also we who are destroying the forest. That's where also the emission comes. Your emission is also coming from your crop fields. जो राइस जो प्रकार we are promoting जो गोटे कथा से कहूले I was being prompted by my mind to respond what I was sitting there कि डेजर्ट रे वर्षा होची बट डेजर्ट रे तो आमे नर्मदा रे डैम करी कि राजस्थान रे सेकंड व्हीट प्रोड्यूसिंग फील्ड आमे क्रिएट करूछ we are already rebalancing the way nature thinks and the second thing we are doing is we are already trying to be in a hurry always. Nature doesn't work like that. Nature doesn't work like social media likes and reposts. आज मैं पोस्ट कर देली 50 जन लाइक कर देले आई एम सो हैप्पी. आज प्लांट सैपलिंग कर देली काली सकाळू जो प्लांटा बढ़ी गला मु भावुची दैट इज क्रिएटिंग अ क्लाइमेट एडाप्टेशन मॉडल. नो व्हाट ग्राम विकास इज डूइंग इट इज नॉट कि आज पहाड़ रे कर देले आ काली गछ उठी गला. It's a process. 30 years, 40 years, गोटे जंगल को लागिबो to become something called a climate resilient forest. तो आमे कौन करुछे जो स्पेस कथा कहूतिले 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old रो गछ गुडा काटी पकोछे आ कन्या रो गछ गुडा लगे पकोछे सहर रे. आमे भाबुछे आमे बहुत बड़ा एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट आमे किछि भी लगे देले जो सपना कहूतिले कि द क्लाट बोली जो ऐप अच्छी आपन को जणैबो कि एक्चुअली को जगह रे को स्पीसीज इज आल्सो इंपोर्टेंट. द वर्ल्ड इज नॉट फेसिंग ए प्लांटेशन क्राइसिस, इट इज फेसिंग ए स्पीसीज क्राइसिस. 1/3 ऑफ द स्पीसीज आर एक्सटिंक्ट. तो आमे गोटे नेचर को बुझिबार जतल अछि आमे नेचर को बुझी पारिबानी जस्ट बाय टेकिंग दिस काइंड ऑफ सुपरफिशियल एक्शंस. We have to understand the soil itself. That is the very first thing. Because the soil is actually giving the base to almost everything that nature is working around for us. तो आमे भुवनेश्वर जेतले कथा लागुचे आमे भाबुचे पब्लिक स्पेसेस 2-4टा कर देले आमे गोटे ग्रीन सिटी डेवलप कर दोछ. So that is not the way a vision has to work. A vision has to work in an interconnected way. And that's why these kind of platforms are important. और जोटी पाई मु भावे कि प्लेटफॉर्म रे आमे माने आसीबा कथा समझते कोनोसी भी प्लेटफॉर्म रे जोटी सबु प्रकार थॉट्स आसीबो. टेक्नोलॉजी वेरी इंपोर्टेंट, यूथ वेरी इंपोर्टेंट, फॉरेस्ट वेरी इंपोर्टेंट, ओशन ब्लू इकोनॉमी वेरी इंपोर्टेंट. But at the base of it is the real technology, the interconnectedness of nature. आमे वर्तमान टू बी वेरी वेरी स्पेसिफिक विथ ऑल ड्यू अपॉलॉजीज आमे समस्ते हाथी को जो अंध मानक भलिया मापुछ. मु सेठी गछ लगे दोची से सेठी प्लास्टिक उठे दोचंती से सेठी पानी रो करचंती. बट आमर जो कन्वर्जेंस इज मिसिंग अनफॉर्चुनेटली इन द गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम एज वेल. क्लाइमेट एक्शन प्लान ओडिशा रे फर्स्ट बट डू वी रियली नो को से सब डिपार्टमेंट से एक्शन प्लान संगे इंटीग्रेटेड अच्छी. वी शुड स्टार्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिकॉज एज सिविल सोसाइटी एज यूथ आमे समस्ते निज निज काम करूचे बट वी हैव टू ऑल्सो स्टार्ट थिंकिंग वेयर द पॉलिसी इज वर्किंग. एंड क्लाइमेट एक्शन इज नॉट ओनली दिस digging a pit somewhere, doing a plantation sapling somewhere, doing a pond revival somewhere, which is all great. But that should be part of a system. That should be part of a watershed, someone said to this. That should be with some approach. Mahanadi upare Chhattisgarh Odisha ro jhagda hochi. But conservation upare cooperation hochi ki? Seta houni. हाँ मु कही दिए ना मु बंद करवा लोक नुह ना मु कहूँ हाँ ना मु एक्जेक्टली मैडम मु एक्जेक्टली सेटा कहूँ आमर चिंताधारा we are basically, I always say everywhere in the global platforms as well, we are basically fighting a perception battle. आमको 30 वर्ष धरिकी शिखे दिखाई कि गछ लगेबाटा गोटे ग्रीन एक्शन which is wonderful. But sapling लगेबाटा जे सबु प्रॉब्लम रो समाधान सेटा नुह. प्लास्टिक आनिकी फोपाड़ी देवाटा सबु समस्यार समाधान नुह. मो घर जदि प्लास्टिक बाहरुची से माइक्रो प्लास्टिक है कि समुद्र को पहुँचब. 4टा यूथ 100टा यूथ 2000टा यूथ 30टा ग्रुप मिसिकरी जिते चाहिए भी एते ट्रक लोड रो प्लास्टिक को सफा करि पारिबेनी. तो मु जदि प्लास्टिक रो व्यवहार बंद करिवार रास्ता न बाहर करूची बा ताकू टेक्नोलॉजी एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप मॉडल रे वेस्ट टू वेल्थ कहते जो भी हिसाब रे मुझे ताकू वर्तमान एलिमिनेट करने को चेष्टा न करूँ इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी प्लास्टिक एक्शन. सिमिलरली मुझे एक्जिस्टिंग नेचुरल फॉरेस्ट को प्रिजर्व न करी मुझे सैपलिंग लगे कि तार सब्स्टिट्यूट बाहर करने को चेष्टा करुँची देन आई एम आल्सो इन द रॉन्ग डायरेक्शन. मु कहूनी कि जंगल कटा जीवनी मु कहूँ तार प्लानिंग कौन हवा कथा कौटा बंचा जाई पारिबो. व्हाई इट इज सो कि भुवनेश्वर रास्ता बनैला बेलू मत सबू गछ काटवाटा फर्स्ट कौन पाए माने एम आई सच ए चैलेंज्ड प्लानर दैट आई कैन नॉट थिंक टू लिव विथ ट्रीज नो एक्जेक्टली. तो मु भावुची आम जदि क्लाइमेट एक्शन कथा कहूचे वी शुड एक्चुअली डू इट इन एन इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच एंड solutions do not come from this person that person. I am not a solution provider. He is not a solution. Everybody is a solution provider, but everybody is not a solution provider in silo. आमको बुझीवा को पड़िबो कि दिस इज ए कलेक्टिव एक्शन. फाइनली मु दुईटा जिनस कहबी शहरी लोगों को. आर वी सिटीजन्स और आर वी यूजर्स? Are we developing ourselves